Hey everybody, thank you for watching. Hopping on here early because ex-President Trump's now speaking.
Shut down your factories, closed up your steel mills,
normally a half an hour to
opened
45
up
minutes
your borders
late,
and undercut your wages and let crime, gangs, and deadly drugs pour into Ohio communities. And you know what I'm saying? And we stopped it. We stopped it cold. We brought back your jobs. We brought back your jobs. All of that changed when you finally got a president who put America first and who put Ohio first, and we did. Proud to have done it. The fact is, you got a president who made America great again.
The only reason we're doing this is because there's the possibility that he's going to trigger some kind of uprising. That's the buzz in the far right, that it's this speech or the speech next Saturday in Nebraska. And, you know, they've been doing this for 6 years. One of these times it's going to actually happen. So that's the main reason we're broadcasting the ex-president. Now, he thinks he's president. All these people out there think he's president. That in itself is ludicrous and dangerous, but it's true. And so we have to keep an eye on what he says, because as January 6th showed, as the tapes that are coming out have shown, as numerous testimony is showing, he's a danger to our country.
We've never been in this position before, but we created something very special. Not in 75 years since the Air Force, we created Space Force. Very important. It's doing great. So we created
The good thing about this is I can correct him as we go along. They renamed a division of the Air Force Space Force. He didn't really create anything. He just named it and set it on its own and gave it its own financing. All necessary things that I agree the country needs, especially at this time, looking at it from a purely secular manner and not a spiritual manner.
They have our airplanes, our helicopters, our tanks, and 70,000. Think of that. I don't think there's a used truck lot or car lot anywhere in the world that has much more than 500 or 600 cars. You know, they say the inventory is full if you have 500 on the big ones. 70,000 trucks, 70,000. We gave them, many of them, armor plated. I was getting us safely out of Afghanistan while keeping Bagram. We were going to be out with dignity, with strength, with respect. They totally humiliated our nation with soldiers killed, 13 great soldiers, and nobody talks around all of the...
By the way, this is the same guy that said people that joined the armed forces basically were not worth a whole lot. Just saying.
Lose a soldier in 18 months, not one, until that horrible day, the most embarrassing day in the history of our country, I feel. And they left hostages behind. They left the equipment, but they left hostages, many, many hostages behind. We created the safest border in the history of our country. They created the most unsafe border, perhaps, anywhere in the world. I don't think there's a border in the world that looks like that. Third world nations have better borders than we do right now. We have no idea from where they come.
Could part of that reason be because Bannon and his other two cohorts that were stealing all of the money that was supposed to go to the wall, and you pardoned Bannon? Something to think about.
This border, 3 weeks away from completing the wall, which I assume they would have done very quickly. We had 2.5 years of litigation before we could start the wall. We did a wall in record time. 2.5 years, we had to win 11 different cases.
Mexico's going to pay for the wall. Not to worry about. Mexico's going to pay for the wall. Mexico's going to pay for the wall. It's going to be huge. Trump wall, going to be huge. Mexico's going to pay for it. No, that really didn't happen, did it? Just saying.
Inflation in 47 years and going much, much higher, which is costing families $6,000 a year. That's bigger than any tax increase ever proposed. And speaking of tax increases, we cut taxes more than any president in the history of the United States.
For the richest 1% of America. And these people are cheering like they had tax cuts. It's 83 degrees, by the way, in Delaware County, Ohio. He's speaking at the county fairgrounds. It's 83 degrees there. I think the average IQ might be slightly less.
Many hoaxes, you know that.
This is entertainment.
We had 160 million people working. They have millions fewer people working, millions and millions fewer. And a lot of people don't even want to go back to work. It looks like they're not going back to work. The numbers are totally phony numbers. They say 3.5%, 4%, but you're talking about a whole different deal. We had 160 million.
You're talking about a whole different deal. Okay. The numbers that when I was in, well, those numbers are, blah, 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 blah. But these numbers, blah, 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 blah. Oh, the great thing is the majority of you are laughing along with me, and there's just a tiny small percentage that are still buying this. As you can see, there may be what, 2,000-3,000 people, a lot of empty seats. A lot of empty seats. But it's Ohio, so, you know, there are a couple thousand people there. I'm waiting until there are 3 keywords we're supposed to be watching for if they are going to rise up, if he's going to call them to do it now. Okay, and this is all based on the far right wing echo chamber of social media. But again, at some point, you know, they may be right. If he says 1776, freedom. If he says 1776, freedom, that's supposed to be the go code. I'm looking for dog whistles. Okay. And I'm waiting for him to get into, you know, get off of the teleprompter. He's reading right now what he's supposed to say. I'm waiting for him to tell all these people how great all the candidates he's endorsing are and all that kind of stuff before we get into him actually deciding that he's had enough and he's going to tell everybody what he really thinks and not what's on the teleprompter. And those are always the most fun parts.
They created unyielding and unsustainable and totally horrific mandates and radical mask regulations. And we did just the opposite. And we had far better success in every single category except for public relations, you know.
Did any of you cure COVID by sticking a fluorescent light up your butt or injecting Lysol or eating aquarium filters? Because those were his answers, if you remember correctly. I'm not making this stuff up. I'm just reminding everybody. I
thought the cameras, this has been happening for a long time. My wife calls me, how is the crowd? I say, do we love our first lady, right?
By the way, there's this blonde that keeps showing up in all the Trump videos from Mar-a-Lago. And I've shown her on the episodes before. The first lady's not happy. The ex-first lady is not happy in any way, shape, or form other than she has access to a lavish lifestyle that is purely all on credit. The reason the dude never shows his tax returns is because he's broke. He's been broke. He's got his name on a bunch of things, but he doesn't own any of them. They're all owned by financial organizations and not by Donald J. Trump. That's why he's the only president in history never show his tax returns since tax returns been around.
Around, and that steel bent so beautifully, and they covered that back corner so. And then I realized they just don't want to talk about the crowds. They refuse to do it. They sit back there nice and smug.
There you go.
But you know what? We're getting the word out better than anybody's ever gotten the word out anyway. In the last year, more people died under the Biden administration than the Trump administration. Nobody knows that. We got rid of NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever made, and replaced it with the USMCA. You're making a lot of money. One of the best trade deals ever made by any country. In fact, it's so good that Mexico and Canada are trying desperately to renegotiate.
It's so good that the Texas governor stopped it at the border and cost Texas $4.8 billion. And now, you know what? Mexico's considering sending their food somewhere else.
And he said, we have to do something, sir. I sat down with the Whirlpool people, and we put tremendous tariffs on all of those machines that were being dumped. They were being dumped into the United States. We put tremendous tariffs on them, taxes and tariffs. And South Korea, sorry to do that, sorry about that, but South Korea and China primarily. And that is now one of the strongest businesses we have in our country. It's one of the greatest businesses in Ohio, and it wouldn't have been there for another 2 months if we didn't do. And I want to just congratulate that particular chairman. He's retired now, but he sat down and he cried before me what they were doing to this industry. And I said, we're going to do something about it. And we did that with many industries. But that one, I went up to the Whirlpool factory where they make it, and it was incredible. And that's washers, dryers, all of that stuff, the dishwashers. And then we changed some rules, too. You know, I said, what's the problem? And can we help you? Well, they don't give us any water for the dishwasher. What does that mean? That we don't have enough water. You know, the ladies, usually, mostly the ladies, in some cases, just to protect myself, in some cases, the men. Okay? He'll say, it was a terrible thing he said. He said, only the ladies would. No, there's some men out there, too. They're not so happy about it either. But in the dishwashers, as an example, they had a little problem. What was the problem? They didn't give you any water. And there was so little water that you couldn't wash the dishes. So what do people do? They kept pressing and do it again, do it again, do it again. So by the time you do it 10 times, the dishes are finally there. You've wasted a lot of electricity, and you spend more water than if you did it right. So I had a regulation where I let you have all the damn water you want for your dishes, and the same thing for your clothing. Same thing for your clothing, for your dishwashers, great, but for your washers and dryers, in the washers, they had no water coming out. And I just asked these simple questions to the head of Whirlpool. Who the hell knows better than him? I said, do you have a problem? Yeah, the problem is there's not enough water. I also did it, by the way, for your sinks.
The Whirlpool washer and dryers that were being done on the cheap were not dispensing enough water. The problem is they weren't getting enough water. Okay.
You ever go to a new home, you buy a nice new home because of the Trump policies, homes were going up like crazy. By the way, I hate to tell you, the stock market dropped over 1,000 points on Friday.
Nobody in that crowd.
Lots of luck, everybody. But
lots of luck, everybody. I'm your leader.
You ever go into a new home and you turn the faucet and there's no water comes out? They have restrictions, and you know
they haven't turned the water on yet because it's a new home.
We're talking about places you don't have a water problem. Say most states don't have a water problem. In fact, you do have a water problem. You have too much water. You don't know what to do with it. So they have restrictors.
Okay, it's not funny because the West doesn't have any water at all. You got a water problem. You got too much of it. We're going to take it away from you. Okay.
Sitting there washing your hair. Come on, water, come out, baby. I want to wash my... I got rid of it.
I love
Same
these
thing
parts
with
where
showers.
he's
I go
not
into a
looking,
shower.
He's talking and he doesn't
And
have
I'd
a
go to a
freaking
hotel
clue
that
what
was
he's
new,
talking about.
and I said, I can't stay in these places. Why? The water just drips out a little bit slowly. I want to take good care of my hair. I don't want that. No, it's true. I mean, I put the soap in. It takes you 20 minutes to have the water come out to get the damn soap out of your hair. But
You're not supposed to wash toupees.
I won't talk about the third element of a bathroom, because every time I do, the fake news only talks about that. But you know what I'm talking about. 1 time, 2 times, 5 times, 10 times, no water comes out. So I totally took that out, and we made it so that when you have a sink, you can actually wash your hands normally, and you can take a shower, and you can do that other thing normally, right? The third element of the bathroom. So we did it with the dryers. We did it with the dryers. What we did with the electric was great. But
Donald Trump, the father of indoor plumbing.
we did it with the washers, and we did it with just about everything. And we had a sane group of manufacturers wanting to do the job, and so many of them were based here. And I'm happy to have done it. Now, let me give you the bad news. They're trying to undo all of those regulations so that when you go into a house, you can't get any water. So we're going to fight on that, and JD and everybody is going to be fighting on that. We finally have it down to a level where you have some sanity. The fact is, the election was rigged and stolen, and now our country is being destroyed. Country's being destroyed. Our country's going to hell. We've never had anything like this, and we have a president right now, sadly, who has absolutely no idea what the hell is happening.
That may be true.
He's shaking hands with the air. He's walking around somewhat bewildered. I'd say it's no good. And taking orders from the Easter Bunny. You saw that one? No, no, no. You know, the Easter Bunny was a political operative. He did a good job, actually. That guy, we should hire that guy. He was very good. He said, no, 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 don't talk to those people. And he's doing all of this while Putin does nothing but talk about nuclear weapons and destroying the world. We have our signals very crossed in our country. We've never had a situation like this. The choice this November is very simple. If you want to keep America in a death spiral of crime, look at what's happening on crime with these Democrat-run cities.
Hold on just a second while you're talking there. You want to talk about crime. I need to pull something up. I'll let him continue to talk. Sorry. You guys keep watching.
Craziness, corruption, and historic national catastrophes. You must absolutely go out and vote for the radical Democrats. If you want to have a country that's going to be great again, you must vote and again. Thank you. That's very good. That's very good. I like that guy. Again and again and again. You know, we had it great again, and then we said, I think we should do a Make America Great Again. You know, our new slogan, our new slogan was Keep America Great. The problem is they've done such damage, we cannot really say right now, and very sadly, that America is great. We're not respected anywhere. We're not listened to. It's very sad what's happened. So we'll say Make America Great Again, okay? But you have to vote for America First Republicans.
Well, I can't find it at the moment.
There's
I've got a whole
no proof
list
that
of
our country is being run by
recent Republican
a deranged
criminals.
group of extremists than the treacherous crusade against American energy and Ohio energy. They see what you're doing to your energy and your energy industry with their fake Green New Deal policies. Biden and the Democrat socialists have done what our worst enemies could never, ever have dreamed of doing to our country. What they have done to our country in so many different ways, but look at energy. Our opponents are deliberating and deliberately crippling the most energy-rich nation on the planet. We walk on liquid gold. We walk on liquid gold. And and they want us to buy from Venezuela. Let's go over to Venezuela, the dictator that everybody hated so much. And now we're supposed to be buying energy from the dictator from Venezuela who's pushing everybody out so he can have a country all to himself. It'll be him and about 30 people. They're all pouring out of Venezuela. We had Venezuela ready. They're crushing domestic production, driving up prices beyond any form of belief. And for all intents and purposes, waging an economic war against our very own citizens. And that's exactly what it is. 1.5 years ago, we were energy independent. Never happened before in our country. And today we're begging OPEC. OPEC is the name. You didn't hear about OPEC for 4.5 years.
I don't make hardly any money doing this stuff, and
United States. We're begging them. Can you imagine? We have more than anybody, and we're begging them for oil. They gave up. First day in office, they gave up Anwar, the biggest site anywhere in the world in Alaska, probably bigger than Saudi Arabia. And it was Ronald Reagan could not get it done. Nobody could. 60 years, 6 decades, they couldn't get it done. Interestingly, a friend of mine called me up. He's in that business, but it had nothing to do with Anwar. He said, I heard you got Anwar done as part of our tax bill. I said, no, actually we don't, but we're close, but I don't know. You know, there's some people I don't like. I don't like Murkowski. She wasn't pushing it. She's a terrible senator from Alaska. So I said, we should get rid of her. You should be smart and get rid of her. Write to all of your friends in Alaska. Say, don't vote for Murkowski.
we should get rid of her, is what he said.
So she approved somebody the first day the person goes into office and they write out Anwar. But a friend of mine called up. He said, what do you think of the Anwar? I said, I don't care. I don't really care. I didn't know too much about it. What the hell? I hadn't been doing this too long. They said, well, you know, it's amazing. I don't care. I have no skin in the game. But Anwar has been tried for 60 years, 65 years. They've been trying to get it. It's the biggest site probably in the world. It's incredible. I thought you might have gotten it. It would be a hell of an accomplishment. I said, are you sure about that? He said, no, it would be an incredible thing. I called my people. By the way, you know when I told you?
Earlier today, I did the final episode on a series I've done, a spiritual series, Our Modern World in the Book of Revelation of Jesus Christ, and repeated in throughout that book is talk of liars and avoiding liars and
Because it was getting cooler and the term wasn't working. So now they simply use the word climate change. Because that covers if it gets cooler or hotter or water up, water down, it doesn't matter, whatever the hell happens, climate change, you're covered. We're 100% covered. They went through all the global warming stuff, but it was just not playing. Climate change, no matter what happens, when you say that, you're okay. In the Republican Party, we reject every single left-wing energy mandate and restriction. Just as we reject COVID mandates and COVID restrictions, and they want to put them back on. And with your vote this fall, we will shut down Biden's energy war on their country and on Ohio. You know, you're a big energy state. A lot of people don't realize that. You look at Ohio, you look at Pennsylvania. Remember Texas, where Biden's against energy? Look at what he was against. The Democrats, no energy, no God, no guns. We're talking about Texas. And they say, oh, the election's going to be very close in Texas. You know why they say that? If they can steal enough votes and if they can win, nobody's going to be looking at it. That's all. We killed them in Texas just like we killed them in Ohio. And just like we're going to beat them in 22, and by the way, in 24, we're going to beat them badly in 24.
Okay, as long as he's talking about upcoming elections.
The actions of the far-left radical Democrats show pure contempt for our country and our people. Thank you. say they have the best seat in the House. That's a good-looking group back there, you know. See, you people actually have, I always say it, movie stars. So look at all those cameras from the fake news. Look at them all. But they always turn the cameras off when we talk about the rigged election. Then the cameras go off. They don't want to. That's what they don't want to talk about. They never want to talk about the rigged election. But look no further than their program of totally open borders. Can you imagine somebody wanting open borders? Now, either you're stupid or you hate our country. It can only be one of two. There's no way that anybody can want open borders. The radical Democrats have chosen their side, and they've sided with the drug cartels, which is another thing. The money is so big. These guys, there has to be something going on, because nobody can want open borders where hundreds of countries are pouring in, and they are really, look, these people are very streetwise, their leaders. These are dictators, presidents, prime ministers. They're very smart people. They're taking the people they don't want, and they're putting them into large groups of people. The caravan, I think I came up with that name. I call them caravans. And they're pouring into our country, and nobody even talks to them. They just pour right in. And who can want that? They've sided with these drug cartels and human traffickers. Almost all trafficking in women, mostly women, and child smugglers and criminal aliens and savage thugs of MS-13. And by the way, I want to pay my compliments to our great law enforcement in this country, and also to Border Patrol and ICE. Border Patrol and ICE, they're incredible. What they have to endure. And then they have no backup from government. And then they say, defund our police. Nobody here. You know, I know some of the people in these rows right here, and they're very tough people, very tough. They don't want to work for ICE. They don't want to go into one of those packs. They call them a pack. And these are people that use knives rather than guns because it's more painful. They cut people up. They cut them up, and they cut them up. They have these ICE people, they walk right into those packs and they start swinging because, unfortunately, it's the only thing they know. It's the only thing that the MS-13 gangs, probably the worst gangs in the world, it's the only thing they understand is this toughness. But they do an incredible job, and they should be greatly respected. They're incredible patriots, and Border Patrol are incredible patriots. And we have to thank them, and the police are unbelievable. Unbelievable what they have to endure, and then they take all of the stuff with them. We're paying them too much. We're paying them too. Let's get rid of the police. How about these Democrat cities that want to get rid of the police force? I really think they want to get rid of our country because nobody can really believe this stuff. Just 15 months ago, we had ended catch and release, stopped total, just stopped asylum fraud, deported thousands and thousands of gang members the hell out of our country, and we built nearly 500 beautiful miles of border wall, exactly as the border protection agencies wanted. We did it to their spec. But right now, the Biden administration has blown the border to shreds. Exactly 1 month from today, Joe Biden has vowed to terminate the Title 42 protection that I put into place, which gives us a lot of good protection. You know, I had Mexico give us free soldiers, 28,000. You know that, right? And everybody said, they'll never do that. I said, yes, they will, 100%. I said, what are the 12 things, or the 10, or the 9, or the 15? Give me the things you want most. And maybe you've heard this, I've told it very seldom, but I'll tell it to Ohio because I happen to love the people of Ohio. I worked in Ohio. Here for more than a year in the Queen City. You know what the Queen City is? Cincinnati. Swifton Village. Job called Swifton Village with my father. We bought a job in Ohio, Swifton Village, and we fixed it and made it good and sold it, and it was wonderful. But I got to know the state very well, and I love the people of Ohio. I love the people of Ohio. Great people. And we can tell you plenty of stories. Maybe I'll tell you the story a little bit later about how great our military is. Should I do that? bikers. Thank you very much. Bikers for Trump. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. But Mexico, so we had a meeting with Mexico. I met with a wonderful woman in the State Department. She's handled Mexico for 25 years. I met with her and some other people and law enforcement that focused on Mexico. And I said, give me the 10 to 12 things you want the most. And they looked at me like, not going to get them. And they wrote 12 things out. I looked, and one of them was military along the border, Mexican military, but they didn't even write the whole thing out. They just said some military, because they said you're not going to get them. I said, of course I'm going to get them. Why would you say, why would they give us free soldiers? Right? Why would they do it? They laughed at me like I was a stupid person. You know, remember I took the aptitude test because they thought I might be stupid. They really didn't. They thought I was really smart. So when they think they're really smart, then when I took the aptitude test, Dr. Ronnie and many doctors, and I aced it. And you know, now they don't call me stupid. They say he's a dictator. He wants to take over the world. They used to call me J.
The reason that the Mexican government put Mexican troops on the border was to try to stop the inflow of United States manufactured assault weapons. Just to be clear.
Had great heritage, an uncle who was a great genius, father who was a genius, everybody, they all have a lot of genius.
A lot of genius.
I don't like being called stupid. Is there a test or something?
Stupid!
These radical left maniacs that are much smarter than them. Is there a test? And he said,
see, that's the
sure,
problem.
there is a test. It's called the X test.
The problem is he is really stupid. He really is. He paid people to take his tests. That's why he's talking about all this stuff. He's trying to deflect from the truth. And the problem is DeSantos. That's not an American name, is it? Is it? Sorry, it's entertainment. DeSantos is actually smart, okay? And he's much more dangerous than the Orange Man. Just saying, watch out. And start checking some guy named Adam Kinzinger out. Adam Kinzinger, representative from Illinois.
I said, let's go, Dr. Ronnie, give me that goddamn test. I want to take that test. Give me that test, Dr. Ronnie. So they gave it to me.
Thou shalt not use the Lord thy God's name in vain. I wish I had not put the volume back up for that. But nonetheless, everybody got to hear how this guy really is.
Ohio. A fake teleprompter that I never end up using. And the fake news. Thank you, sir, very much. Thank you. Then they come back to you 20 minutes later, name the 5 things you named. And I hit it perfectly. They say nobody hits that one. And when we told that, you know, we told it on Fox. I hope Fox gets all straight.
He's trying to convince people awfully hard how smart he is. And he's just about to, he's going to be too sick to go to jail. Okay, that's what's going to, he's going to be found guilty of things on the state level, on the federal level, and it makes him dangerous. I don't know if he even realizes it yet, or if he still is so privileged and so isolated that he thinks he really is untouchable. I hope so, because he won't he won't be dog whistling.
Every one of them, and everybody in the room was sort of smiling and laughing and saying, this guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. We've been working on this for 25 years. So in comes the highest representative of Mexico, right under the top, right under the boss, who happens to be president. A really nice guy. I really like him. He's a socialist, but I like him. He's one of the socialists I like. See, I don't like Nancy Pelosi. I don't like Sherman. I don't like that. But I like the socialist who heads up Mexico. Now they're going to say, he's terrible. It's subversion. He likes the president of Mexico.
Oh, obviously, for those of you that are really wanting to watch Trump's speech, this is, you know, not the channel to be doing it on.
He comes in and he lets we need soldiers along the border free. He looks at me like, free? Why would we do that? We need something called stay in Mexico. That means nobody can come into our country until we check them out, and it could take months and months and months. And he said, we wouldn't do that. Why would we? And the other things were even worse.
Lying liars lie.
And I said to the State Department, watch. They said, we would never even consider doing that, and I'm ordering you to stop asking for it. I said, I'm the President of the United States. You can no longer order me. So I looked at him and I said, you don't think you're going to do this, right? He said, we're not going to do any of them. Why would we do it? We're not going to give you 28,000 soldiers for free. I said, yes, you are. Because it's now Friday afternoon at 1 o'clock. And on Monday morning at 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm putting on a 25% tariff. All of the cars that you stole our industry, stole 32%. Every car that comes into the United States.
They didn't steal any. The Republicans passed it. When Clinton was in office, it was NAFTA, CAFTA. Those that have watched this show saw me shout about it when I was running for office.
It would be an honor to have 28,000 soldiers on the border. It would be an honor to stay in frickin' Mexico. Stay in Mexico. Max, we won every point. Max was there. Max Miller, one of the great guys.
August 4th, 2021.
I've never seen anybody fold like that. They said it would be an honor to have 28,000 free soldiers. And for 2 years, we did. And that's one of the reasons we had the best numbers in the history of the border. Thank you very much, Mexico. And
decade-long firearm conflict between the U.S. and Mexico.
Because all of these countries, Europe, all of them, they take advantage of the United States. I got billions and billions and billions of dollars, over $400 billion paid into NATO, because I told them, you're not paying. They weren't paying. We were protecting Europe. They were killing us on trade. They were killing you. They weren't taking our cars. They weren't taking our farm product. We were taking everything from them. BMWs, we were taking every car made by the millions that they weren't taking. I said to Angela Merkel, Angela, how many Chevrolets do we have in Munich? And she said, why, I don't believe any. I said, you're right. How many do we have in Berlin? She said, why Donald? Donald, I don't believe we have any. I said, you're right. You may have one in a museum from 40 years ago, right? But you have none. And yet you send us Mercedes-Benz and BMWs and Volkswagens by the millions. I said, no way. And we started that whole thing. But I said, we can't do that and also protect them militarily. So I told them, I said, and this was a big story last week because it was revealed for the first time. They probably knew about it, but they didn't like talking about it because it was too positive. But I said to the 28 countries at that time, including us, I said, no, if you don't pay, we're not going to protect you. The money came in by the billions. It was amazing. The money came in by the billions. And that's why...
See, people are clapping because they're even at the point. The people there are even at the point like, oh my God, what, you know, how much of this bull crap are we going to have to listen to until you tell us to go kill everybody?
There were 8 countries that were paid. There were 20 that weren't paid. Are you saying that if we don't pay, you're not going to protect us? I said, yes, that's what I'm saying. Okay. They started sending checks like nobody's ever seen. And the Secretary General Stoltenberg said there's never been anything like this. Bush went in and made a speech and he left. Obama went and made a speech, boring speech, and he left. They always forgot to ask for money. And we were really protecting Europe almost 100%. NATO really didn't exist in terms of what they were doing. I got them to pay over $400 billion and it came in very quickly. Now, if I would have said, oh, yes, we'll protect you no matter what you do, it's okay, they wouldn't have paid, right? That's the way it works in life. But all of this money that you see right now, and I was the one that said, we're going to send in the tank busters, right? Remember? We're going to send in javelins. You know that, right?
No, actually, you were the one that held up the funding to go to Ukraine and were impeached for doing so. Yeah, right. Yeah, remember? Yeah. I was the one. I was the one that was, unless Zelensky made up something about Biden, then he wasn't going to get his money. And you got impeached for it, and you should have went out of office at that point. Things would have been a lot better.
Your sovereignty, defunding your police, prosecuting your politicians like nobody's ever seen before.
Back on the teleprompter.
And those you believe in, all of those people you believe in, they're trying to prosecute them. Eviscerating your laws, crushing your wages, diluting your vote, and handing your country over to millions and millions of illegal, foreign national, illegal aliens, I would call them, all without your consent. You haven't consented to that. On top of that, you had a fake, phony election. And by the way, did you see, oh, what a handsome president. I said, should I wear a red tie or a blue tie? They said, how about a blue one? He says, whatever you want, whatever you want. No, that's a nice picture. See, those screens are very expensive. But on that screen, you know, we were paying so much for those damn screens. I said,
I hope everybody is seeing that the only thing this guy values is money. Everything is based upon, oh, how much is that worth? That's got to be, you know, that's very expensive. It's got to be very expensive. And part of it is these people over here in the chat, okay, in his chat, Daddy Trump, Trump, he's our man. If he can't do it, nobody can. Oh, that's really original there from the 1940s, I think. We need stability and order. Best president ever. Love him. We love you, Trump. God bless. Trump always been the man, is the best. And here's these Chinese. Now, a lot of these are bots. A lot of these are Russian bots, but not all of them. And they think John F. Kennedy Jr. is going to be vice president in 2024. I've got some news coming up after this. I was going to do the news before while waiting on him to come on and talk, but like we know, he came on early and I didn't get a chance to eat or do the news. So I don't know. The way this is making me feel, in all honesty, I'll probably do the news in a separate episode and air it later tonight.
Complaints that these people didn't vote, and historically a very small portion of people in nursing homes vote because they have other problems. We can understand. Perhaps we'll all be there.
By the way, his chief of staff, Mark Meadows, voted in not 2, but 3 different states. Anytime they talk about voter fraud, make sure the truth comes out and don't just allow them to peddle hockey puck, horse crap.
That took place in Wisconsin, the ballot harvesting that took place incredibly in Georgia, where there's a level of corruption that you've never seen, and in Pennsylvania and these other states, mostly they find in swing states, because that's the one they focused on. So you're going to watch that next week. I hope you're going to stay watching it, and maybe now if they want, they can turn their cameras back on. The Biden border crisis is also fueling the violent crime crisis in America. Under the radical communist socialist Democrats, it's open season on law enforcement officers like never before and on law-abiding Americans. And by the way, I know it's possibly not politically correct, but I really don't care about that. I don't care about that. We have to give in those cities that are being ravaged by crime and people being killed, many people sometimes in a week, worse than it was in Afghanistan. Remember, 18 months we didn't lose any soldier. I told Abdul, don't ever kill any American soldier again. Because if you do, it'll be held to pay like nobody's ever had to pay. And he understood that. He understood that. It was a very nice conversation with him, actually. He was very respectful. He called me Your Excellency, Your Excellency. He said, but why, Your Excellency? Why? Why did you send me a picture of my house? Which I did. Nice house, actually. Very nice house. But you know what? For 18 months, we didn't have one soldier killed, not one. And yet in our Democrat-run cities, you have many people killed every week, and you have people shot every week. Worse than Afghanistan by far. Hard to believe, right? But we are going to do something about it, and the Republicans are going to do something about it. And I was always torn. Do I send in law enforcement? Do I send in the military into Democrat-run cities? I mean, the one good thing about happened with this fake election is that this little space, people are seeing how badly they're running things. Our country's gone to hell. You look at everything, and you look at the numbers of law enforcement. And I decided let the Democrats run their cities. And I think I did the right thing, because if I sent in the military, or if I sent in the National Guard, they'd say he's a dictator. And we did do that sometimes after a period of time, like Minneapolis. We sent in the National Guard because after 6 days, that place was, you weren't going to have a city. And they did a great job. I sent them in. And we were going to send them into Seattle because they basically were taking over the city. And Portland, I did send them in. They were going to burn down the federal courthouse. By the way, do you notice that nothing happens to those people, right? Nothing happens to them. But we have people in jail that are police officers and firemen and others, and they're being treated so differently. In Cleveland, Cincinnati, Columbus, and Dayton, all Democrat-run cities, you have skyrocketing murders, rapes, robbery, shootings, and carjackings at levels that they've never seen before. This month, right here in Columbus, a 3-year-old boy was horribly shot when 15 bullets were fired into his house. Killed. Last month, a 1-year-old baby girl was shot while sleeping in her home, lying in bed between her 2 parents, when a bullet came through the wall, through the mattress, and right into her back. And this month, a Columbus man was sitting on his porch when 2 vicious thugs tried to rob him, viciously rob him.
But we love our guns.
Please, I don't have any money. They shot him 8 times and killed him. But help is on the way. The reign of defund the police Democrats ends this November. And even more so, it's going to end in November of 2024.
See, he has to keep making it seem like he's going to run in 2024. Reality, he's going to be in jail more than likely if he's healthy enough. But it's all about money, all right? And as long as they think he's going to be running, they're going to keep pouring money in. He's got $100 million. He doesn't have a campaign. There's no regulation on where that $100 million is going. It's not part of a federal presidential campaign. Conservative. He's the con in this point, and you're all serving him that are doing all of this. Just saying.
To being moved around. Think of it. Think of what they're doing.
It's time that if there are Republicans that aren't conservative, they should be thinking about taking over their party instead of it going in the total opposite direction. Just a little free political advice from somebody that's been around the block.
Dinesh D'Souza. He did a movie on it. But it's truth to vote. This is a group of unbelievable, many women. And you know what they did? They went through 50 miles of tapes because those fake lockboxes that were being stuffed all over the place They have tapes. In many cases, government tapes. You know who's were the worst? By the way, Georgia. A lot of the tapes were missing in Georgia. The governor of Georgia's done a poor job, and he didn't want to do anything about it. But Georgia was one of the worst. But they followed these tapes for almost a year. They've been reviewing, and they have people stuffing the boxes like you've never seen before. And you get just a little glimpse of it, but it was, I'm sure it was eye-shattering. But none of these vital changes will be possible if we don't kick the radical left, Democrat, socialists, I say communists, because again, when you don't have a media, when you have people turning off their cameras when they don't want to hear something, when you don't have a media that's going to police the corruption in this country, then you've got yourself a big problem. But we're going to throw them
That's what he's doing here,
out of the House and out of the Senate.
We defend a noble cause. It's not about. It's not for it's not about money.
We have to do everything to maximize our chances of victory. Our country's stake. It's all about winning. We have no choice. We have to win. We have to fight. They fight very dirty, very dirty. They used COVID in order to cheat in the election by sending millions and millions and millions of fake ballots all over the place. Nobody knew what the hell was happening. Some houses got many ballots. I won't say how many because they'll say, how do you know that? Many people. I could say in this audience, but of course this audience would have far fewer. If I went to another audience, almost everybody would raise their hand. That's why I'm very pleased to introduce the man with by far the best chance to defeat the radical Democrat nominee for the U.S. Senate this November. And you know what? He's a guy that said some bad shit about me. He did. But you know what? Every one of the others did also. In fact, if I went by that standard, I don't think I would have ever endorsed anybody in the country. They all said bad, but they all came back. But I will tell you, he was tough, but the others were tough, and a lot of them said some very bad things. And ultimately, I put that aside. By the way, he's been like incredible in the last period of time, long period of time. And so have the others, for the most part, I guess in all cases, the others. But I have to do what I have to do. We have to pick somebody that can win. And this guy he's tough, he's smart, he's a former Marine. He's a Yale-educated lawyer, great student.
Yale-educated lawyer, but he's going to call everybody else an elite if he gets to talk. Trump might just introduce him and bring him out here. I hope, because I really want this to wrap up. The guy he's getting ready to endorse in 2016 said that Trump was America's Hitler, and we needed to really be aware and not let this guy get power. So now that the guy's got power, he's changed his mind. Not making it up. That's not entertainment. That's fact.
All I'll say is it is time to send Republicans who know what time it is. We've got big tech censoring conservatives. We've got a crazy fake president.
Okay, this guy's not going to declare war on America, I don't think so.
We've got a ridiculous leadership, even on the Republican side, that tries to do some of the best things that Donald Trump did over the past 4 years, things that no other president has done.
Now he's attacking Republicans, so here's Gehring's propaganda for those that have never seen it before. If you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it. How many times has he repeated it today alone? Accuse the other side of that which you're guilty. Stuff in the ballot box, ballot irregularities. Mark Meadows, his own White House chief of staff, 3 different states. Propaganda works best when those who are being manipulated are confident they're acting on their own free will. I'm a patriot. I'm a Christian. I'm a patriot. I'm Trump, because that's what I've been told. Vitally important for the state to repress dissent, for truth is the mortal enemy of the lie. You want to go back to Tricky Dick Nixon? You want to go to Reagan and Iran-Contra. You want to go to George Bush and lying about yellow cake uranium in Iraq. You want to go to Trump and January 6th. We can go to any of those.
Against, they really have. I don't want to say all of them. I can say a guy like Bill Crystal as opposed to him. Once others crying. Adam Kinzinger, Little Ben Sass from Nebraska, real lightweight. CNN, MSDNC, New York Times, Washington Post.
Don't mention the American Doofus channel, please.
They're all looking to do bad things. JD is also supported by a great group of people. Tucker Carlson, Senator Josh Hawley, Ohio Right to Life.
If you haven't seen it, go watch the latest Tucker Carlson episode. It was taken down because of a copyright violation. It was making too much money, and but that wasn't the point. The point of the video, the Mike Tyson part, was to show what really happened, because I had a feeling he was going to get painted as the bad guy, and in many cases that's come true. But Tucker Carlson may not be who Trump thinks he is, and he's definitely not who the QAnon people thought he was, because they're pretty mad at him, and they're pretty mad at Kevin McCarthy, and they're pretty mad at just about anybody that's not Trump.
When he defeats a total lightweight, by the way, ran for president, he was the only guy who had zero. Tim Ryan, he's running, I guess. I don't know. Is he going to win? I guess. Is he going to win the primary? I guess, right? Does he have anybody in the primary? But he's not good. He ran for president. He got zero. But what he will have, look, what he will have is tens of billions of dollars, and we can't take a chance. And that's one of the reasons. I mean, I studied this very closely. I like.
By the way, JD Vance is sponsored. The money's coming to JD Vance by somebody named Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel is also one of the three people behind the artificial intelligence generated QAnon faction. You're starting to connect some dots here.
I'm sorry, you've already voted. By the thousands. I'm sorry, ma'am, you've already voted. No, I wanted to vote on election. I'm very proud. There's a beautiful woman walked in. Thousands of people. I'm sorry, ma'am, you've already voted. Some people left, they didn't know what happened. Some people cried, and some people got very angry, got beyond angry. Angry like nobody's ever seen. But they walked in and said, I'm sorry, because they had somebody vote for them. And I can tell you they didn't vote for Trump. I can tell you that. Also with us.
They should not have been able to tell you that, because it's a secret ballot. So if they told you that, you just admitted that they and you broke federal law. Just saying.
He was such a natural at politics. But he is, it's just like baseball, golf, basketball.
I'm just ahead of my time.
Some people are naturals, and most people aren't. This guy is a natural. This was a very complicated
right back at you. You're a natural thief and a crook and a liar.
He was a Trump plus 12. Then he
went, that would have been good.
That's good. Then he went to
Trump
very
unpopular, except to the people.
Motions and hearings and decisions. Like me so and then he went to a Trump plus 8. Then he went to a Trump plus 2. Then he went to a Democrat district. And then he got a Trump plus 8. He's got a hell of a district. And he, you know what? Even when it went very bad for him, when he was in literally a Democrat district, if there's such a thing, I don't think there's going to be such a thing. There's going to be very few of them come November. But Max Miller never
is that a threat?
Once
he threatened to kill?
I don't care.
Kill all Democrats?
We're going to win because the people get it. And I'd like to ask Max just to come up here for a second. He's great. Great guy. He's a great guy. Going to be a tremendous congressman. I'm proud of him. He's like my boy.
I will. Well, let's hear it for the greatest president of our lifetimes. The president.
Let's see. Let's play this instead. Little news from China.
24 hours a day and can't go back to your apartment until the Communist Party gives you permission.
Hold on, let me back it up just a couple of moments here. There were some people that said, that messaged me and said what I said about Tesla wasn't true. They're pro-Tesla people. So
they locked down, but let key manufacturers set up production bubbles. Basically, big factories like the Tesla Gigafactory are going back into production, provided they operate in a closed loop, which means workers will be eating and sleeping on the factory floor. If you thought working from home was annoying, try homing from work. You're locked inside the factory 24 hours a day and can't go back to your apartment until the Communist Party gives you permission. Truly a worker's paradise. In Tesla's case, people are literally sleeping on the factory floor because they don't have dorms for the workers. Given there isn't any purpose-built dorm, people will be required to sleep on the floor in a designated area, and there will be other spaces allocated for showering, entertainment, both yet to be completed, and catering. Worst slumber party ever. Not that I would know what good slumber parties are like. My parents were first-generation immigrants. I grew up under permanent lockdown. Tesla is one of 666 companies that the Shanghai government has given permission to open back up.
Tesla is one of 666 companies the Chinese government has given permission to open back up.
In a closed bubble. In China, 666 is supposed to be a lucky number for businesses. But these factory bubbles sound more like hell.
Get back here because Trump's talking again.
Very seriously. But some of these guys, they wanted my endorsement so badly, and then they let you down. Guys like Mitch McConnell. Brian Kemp of Georgia, terrible. The lightweight senator from Nebraska, Little Ben Sass, and others. We had some really bad people. They want the endorsement, then as soon as they get it, oh, they go after me, but I go after them too. We're also joined by two really incredible warriors from Congress, Troy Balderson and Mike Carey. Thank you very much. Great job. Thank you, fellas. They really have been. They've been fighting against some very bad people for a long time and fighting well and winning. We've been winning. Ohio State Auditor Keith Faber. Thank you, Keith. Good job. Just gave him my full endorsement today. Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose. Frank has our complete and total endorsement. You did a fantastic job on redistricting and all the things you did. Thank you, Frank. Fantastic. Total, complete endorsement, both of them. Ohio.
Redistricting in Ohio. He drew up such a horrible map the first time around that his own party rejected it. It was so skewed that they knew there's no way you're going to do this.
And no matter what happened, we had this.
And for those that don't know what gerrymandering is, it is where the party in charge constructs the congressional districts in the way that the party in charge will infinitely remain in charge. And specifically, people in the Black communities are marginalized. Have we ever heard that before?
What he turned out to be right, and I love him. Bob Paduchek. Bob, great job. He did a great job.
Your hair's going to blow off,
Another friend of mine, and he was a very, very formidable candidate, and he happens to be very nicely related soon, very strongly related, because he's the father of a magnificently perfect and beautiful woman that Max is going to marry. I think that maybe is going to be his greatest achievement, even though he's been very successful. Bernie Marino. Bernie? Hi, Bernie. Great job, Bernie. Thank you for everything. Great job. Great guy. And in the audience, we have somebody doesn't know he's going to be announced, but I have to because he's been out there and he's been farming and he's been carving the name Trump. He's been carving the name Trump at his farm, and those planes would pass over that farm. You know who I'm talking about? And he's a great guy, and he's in there fighting for whatever the hell he's fighting for. I don't care. I love him. J.R. Majewski, he's been...
Even he's getting tired of this crap.
Where's J.R.? He's around here someplace. He had no idea we were going to do. Is that J.R.? Yes. Hello, J.R. They didn't even give you a good seat, J.R. But we love you, J.R. Thank you very much. Thank you, man. This guy, he carves that name Trump in those fields. He's a genius. Thank you, J.R. Really nice. Hey, JR, you're pretty popular. Yeah, you got a lot of popular support. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Remember, I told everybody when I took over, I said, go out, farmers, buy more land and a larger tractor. I was right. I got China to give us a lot of money, including handing you $28 billion out of some of the taxes and tariffs. I gave the farmers $28 billion and manufacturers, too. It's the first time China's ever done that one.
Some farmers in Indiana might disagree.
County Fair Board for their incredible work this evening. This broke all of their records. They told me that we broke their record by thousands and thousands of people. And as far as the eye can see, you're not going to hear that.
As far as the eye can see.
But as far as the eye can see, people back there. I wish they had the press way back there. They have these cameras, they're fantastic. They have these magnifying lenses now. We could put them way back and they'll be just fine. They'll be just fine, and I wish we did that because they're blocking a lot of great people from seeing. But I want to thank you all very much for being here, and great, and thank you for your support. You could take the 5 worst presidents in American history.
You're number 5.
And by the way, Mike, stand up. Mike, he's a hell of a patriot.
5 worst presidents in history, and Trump, you're at the bottom.
He's a great patriot. He's a great patriot, and he's the single greatest buyer of ads in the history of our country. Thank you, Mike. Great job. He's a good man. You could take the 5 worst presidents in American history and put them all together, and they would not have done the damage Joe Biden has done to our country in just a short period of time. But think about it. I used to say 4 years. I said 4 years. Now we're saying 2.5 years. Soon we're going to be saying 2 years. We have in November, we have it all happening, and then we're going to say 2 years, and then we're going to be at 1 year. It's happening fast. When I said 4 years, that was too long. But the damage is so incredible that they've inflicted on our country. As everyone here understands,
just wrap it up.
This is the most dangerous period in the history of our country because of the weaponry, the kind of weapons, the nuclear weapons. Never before has our world been so unsafe because of that. The Russia catastrophe in Ukraine would never have happened under the Trump administration. Zero.
That's because you would have kowtowed to Putin. It's, even the people in the crowd understand your love for Putin.
I know Putin very well. There is zero chance that this would have happened. I talked about it with him. I knew
it. You called him a genius. He's evil. So guilt by association, is this person evil? That might have to just be an episode in and of itself.
Pain onto it, I guess. Under Bush, Russia invaded Georgia. Under Obama, Russia took Crimea. Under Biden, Russia took everything. Boy, they're sure as hell trying, but they've destroyed everything. You look at those cities, they're flattened. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Over our 4 incredible years, we accomplished more for this state than any administration in the history of our country. I withdrew from the horrible Trans-Pacific Partnership, would have totally killed your manufacturing and your auto industry. We created 500,000 new manufacturing jobs in my first 3 years. President Obama said there would be no more manufacturing jobs. We fought for Ohio, and we won big for Ohio, and that's why you won big for me twice, and I appreciate it. I will never forget it.
So let's
and
close.
when Republicans retake Congress, we will fight and we will win for Ohio once again.
Wrap it up.
We are going to win. We're going to win bigger and better and stronger than even before. This week, a Trump-appointed judge liberated Americans from Joe Biden's oppressive mask mandate. With all of the stories I read, I just didn't read anything about the fact that, and I was very proud to appoint that judge. I was very proud of what she did, and it's a great appointment. She did something very brave. But now the administration is appealing the decision, and
the CDC, Center for Disease Control, not the administration. The CDC, a government organization, is appealing the mandate to the Department of Justice. Just to be clear. And by the way, this guy's vaccinated and boosted and had fluorescent lights up his butt.
Isn't it amazing how that's become such a big subject? And who would even think that that would be a big subject? Who would even think we'd be talking about that? Who would even think that would be a subject where it gets like the biggest hand of all? Who would think it's possible? And while we're at it, we don't want men competing in women's sports. Is that okay? You saw the recent race, the swimming meet, where an 11-year-old record, and they had one young lady. She was going to break that record by 1/8 of a second. She's been working for years. She's going to break that record. And the gun goes off, and the guy broke it by 38 seconds.
Last time he told the story was 45 seconds. And it's somebody that has transitioned. So take that for what it's worth coming from this guy.
Big marbles on that foot, and like it's 208 pounds or whatever the hell. It's enough. She's so proud she got it up here. She's ready to. Then she didn't quite make it, but she'll make it. But here's the problem. This guy gets up. Bing. They said, have you lifted before? No, I haven't really. It's so ridiculous. And you know, people aren't supposed to talk about it. Even the young ladies that are being just beaten so bad. It's so unfair. It's so unfair. They talk about women's sports. It's so unfair. And yet, the women that are getting beaten don't want to. They said, "Do you have any comment?" No, I'd rather not comment. I'm not afraid to comment. I'll comment. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Is it really in any of his business at all? And if so, what makes you say that? How is it any of his business what a woman thinks after a competition? Makes a pretty clear statement about those people.
He's just censored by those people right back there. Before 2016, America had a free and open internet. That all changed when I began using social media to bypass the fake news and defeat the corrupt Democrat candidate, crooked Hillary Clinton.
When he began lying incessantly and was banned from all of those sites for lying. I gotta go see if I can get my dog in.
This terrified the left, big tech, and the legacy media because they saw that social media could be used to challenge their own propaganda. I guess I did it well in 2016, but think of it. I got like 12 million more votes in 2020, and we didn't have it. So I don't know the level of power, but we did much better the second time. But they were confused, and they conspired to ban me from every social media platform on the face of the earth. Millions and millions of you had already experienced big tech's vicious censorship. Because of this digital tyranny, we had to give the American people their voice back by building something called Truth Social. And I think Truth Social is going to do well. It's moving along nicely. You look at Twitter and you look at how badly it treats everybody, and it's a real mess. But Truth Social, phone users can download the app today and get their voices back, and it's open.
Truth Social might as well not exist.
iPhone users are very soon to make Truth Social.
Yeah, very soon. It's just like the QAnon stuff. Very soon, all this stuff's going to happen. So just keep paying your monthly subscription to Truth Social, and eventually it'll work.
The waitlist now you can join. As of last night, I think at 10 o'clock in the evening. Big tech has banned so many Americans, there's none left to ban. All that's left to ban are their fake bot accounts. You know, they're bot accounts. A lot of phony accounts. The Truth Social, we're canceling the plague of radical leftists that's destroying America.
The other side of that, what you are guilty.
Any pro-free speech company, we want it all to be good, just like we are with Rumble. Rumble's doing a great job, and we've teamed up to build this incredible platform. So go out and sign up now, have a lot of fun, and finally we have no choice. We must restore the integrity of our elections. From now on, we must have universal voter ID, citizenship confirmation, no more drop boxes. The drop boxes are just so bad. No more drop boxes. And no private money. How about Zuckerberg? He puts in $417 million. Most of it.
That's cool.
You know, if you spend $100 more than $5,600 or whatever the number is, they put you in jail. Here's a guy who gave $400, and most of it was sent and shipped to Democrat areas. You think that's fair? In addition, every state should.
You think it's fair that the guy gets to decide where he wants his campaign? Wow. I hope you all are catching all this stuff.
To ban electronic voting machines and replace them with a transparent hand count system.
You realize how long it would take for a hand count system? Not very long if there aren't many people voting, and that's their plan.
Have long criticized the insecurity of electronic voting machines. If you looked at the letters from some of our wonderful Democrat senators, you saw Kamala Harris, how she's doing as vice president. Do you think she's doing a good job as vice president? Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren, Amy Klobuchar, you see their letters talking about, you know, the voting machines are corrupt. They got to stop them. They got to stop them. All of a sudden they say, oh, aren't they wonderful? This is not a partisan issue. This is an issue for our country. Everyone should want free and fair elections, and we must have voting systems that all Americans can again trust. Nobody trusts them. Nobody trusts them. We have to go back to one-day voting and paper ballots with only mail-ins being accepted for our distant military or people who are very sick, and we have to confirm that. Mail ballots, long-term voting, and no voter ID or signature.
So he's not going to be able to mail in and vote, and they confirm he's really sick because we already know he's really sick.
You have to believe that they were honest, and if you look at even the polls, a vast number of people feel that the election presidential election of 2020 was rigged and stolen, and you can't have that. You can't have that. And then you that these decisions that are being made are so bad, and that our country's going to hell, and none of those decisions should have been made. Holding millions of ballots in storage is dangerous and not acceptable. The only way is a one-day voting and paper ballots.
Okay, how can you do both things? How can you store millions of votes in a warehouse, but yet it's all been done electronically?
One-day voting. You go one day, even if they made a holiday, let it have a holiday. They name holidays for everything imaginable nowadays, right? Let's have a holiday if they want. One-day voting, paper ballots. Nobody's going to play games. You can watch them quickly. We don't have to worry about foreign countries. We don't have to worry about anything. One-day voting, paper ballots. And if we're going to have mail-in ballots, we're never going to have honest elections. You can't have. These ballots were sent to everybody. I predicted it correctly last time. I've been given some credit for it. I said it's going to be a disaster. It turned out to be even worse than.
The only person in the Republican Party that they thought might win that didn't was him. Anybody want to try to explain that? How Marjorie Taylor Greene won? How Madison Cawthorn won? How Lorena Bobbert, or whatever her name is, won? Cotton, all these people. You honestly think if it was going to be rigged, it wouldn't have gone down ticket? It's just going to be him? If it was rigged by anybody, it was rigged by Republicans to keep him out.
In other states, you get it so big, there's a point at which they can't do their magic, right? Their crooked magic. This is the year we're going to take back the House, we're going to take back the Senate, and we are going to take back America. And in 2024, most importantly, we are going to take back that very, 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 very beautiful White House.
Make America great again. Come on. Come on, hurry up. You or they?
Thank you very much.
You or they?
And just in closing, first of all, we have to put J.D. Vance in the U.S. Senate. So get your friends and get your family, get everyone you know, and get out and vote for J.D. without delay. Do it now, do it then, but get out and vote.
Okay, we can't have any early voting, but get out and vote now.
We fight for more jobs for Ohio families, fair trade for Ohio workers, and more Ohio factories forging more products stamped with that beautiful phrase, made in the USA. We will shut down Biden's border disaster, reinstitute our strong Remain in Mexico policy, reimpose Title 42, which is right now being decimated by the Biden administration, and strengthen the ICE and Border Patrol patriots. We will again end, and we have no choice, catch and release. We will end chain migration. We will end visa lottery. And we will quickly finish the wall. It can be done in 3 weeks, which was delayed with 2.5 years of lawsuits and other litigation, all by Democrats in Congress. We will stop the Democrat crime wave. We will give our police the power they need and the respect they deserve. We will not take legal protection away from them.
You've said all this.
They want to take legal protection away from our police. Let them represent themselves. It's not going to happen. We will restore law and order in America. We will hold China accountable for unleashing the virus upon the world. We will lead humanity back to the moon, and the United States will be the first nation to land astronauts on Mars. We're very close to doing it. We will protect innocent life.
By the way, if that happens, it's going to be Elon Musk. It's not going to be the United States. This guy tries to take credit for everything, obviously. I mean, we've all seen that.
Christian values and principles of our nation's founding. We will restore patriotic education to our schools, and we will teach our children to love their country, honor our history, and to always respect our great American flag. Our MAGA movement, Make America Great Again, is by far the greatest political movement in the history of our country. Nobody can dispute it. Even the fake news doesn't want to talk about it. They can't do it. There's never been a movement like it. And it's also a movement of common sense, and it's a movement of love.
And it's a movement of a bunch of crooks that are currently being exposed by audio tapes made by the leader of the congressional delegation of those crooks. Let's not forget any of that.
Powers and dangers. Our biggest threat remains the sick, sinister, and evil people from within our own country.
The ones you're talking
There is
about.
no threat as dangerous to democracy as they are. Just look at the unselect committee of political hacks and what they're doing to our country while radical left murderers, rapists, and insurrectionists roam free. Nothing happens to them. But no matter how big or powerful these corrupt radicals may be, you must never forget this nation does not belong to them. This nation belongs to you. This is your home, this is your heritage, and your great American liberty is your God-given right. From Akron to Toledo, from Cleveland to Columbus, and from Dayton to right here in Delaware County, you inherit the legacy of generations of Ohio patriots like Neil Armstrong, Annie Oakley, President William McKinley, a man who, by the way, happened to believe strongly in tariffs to protect the workers of our country. Great president doesn't get enough credit. And the amazing Ulysses S. Grant. That's not bad. They fought battles. They broke barriers. They conquered dangers. They pushed into new frontiers, and they risked everything.
Just end it, man. Come on.
This beloved nation. It was hardworking patriots like you who built this country, and it is hardworking patriots like you who are going to save our country. We're going to fight for America like no one has ever fought before. We will not let radical left lunatics or rhinos take away from us what has been so brilliantly forged over nearly 250 years. These are sick people who are making our country sick, but we are the doctors and the nurses and the professionals who will fix it and make it better and maybe healthier than ever before. There is no mountain we cannot climb. There is no summit we cannot reach. There is no challenge we cannot meet. There is no victory we cannot have. We will not bend. We will not break. We will not yield. We will never give in. We will never give up. We will never, ever back down as long as we are confident and united.
The origin of the quote is,
Tyrants we are fighting do
trying to
not
make it seem
stand
like
a
it's from
chance
you.
of victory
Your
because
wife
we
got
are
in trouble for that
Americans, and
at the
Americans
first
kneel to
Republican
God
convention.
alone.
Anybody remember that first Republican convention? Melania Trump read Michelle Obama's speech.
This is a movement like no other. It's only just begun.
Has it only
And
just
it is
begun?
time to start talking about greatness for our country.
You've been
not
president
other
before, haven't you?
things that
So
make
now
no
it's only
sense
just begun?
whatsoever.
What
We want
happened
to start
before?
talking about our country and greatness again.
You lost to Joe
We
Biden.
are one movement,
You know
one
that?
people, one family,
You lost
and
to
one
Joe
glorious
Biden.
American
I
nation.
don't know if anybody else in the country
So with
would
the
have
help
lost
of
to Joe
everyone
Biden.
here today and
I probably
citizens
would have
all
beat Joe
across our
Biden. But you
land,
lost to Joe
we
Biden.
will make
You
America
lost to Joe
powerful
Biden.
again.
You lost to Joe Biden. You lost to Joe
We will
Biden.
make
Legitimately.
America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Ohio. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Longest hour and a half I've spent in a long time. I wonder what Sam and Dave think, or the family of Sam and Dave think about this. Anyway, there we go. Thank you all for watching. That was the ex-president of the United States. And we've got some news I'm going to do real quick here. So hang around for just a couple of moments here, if you so desire. Let me get set up real fast. And let's see. All right, there we go. Mysterious rash of Russian deaths since the beginning of the conflict in Ukraine, and it's been casting some suspicions within inside Russia on whether their president is possibly behind some of these. 10 high-profile critics of Putin, 7 diplomats, 6 associates of Kremlin power brokers, 13 military or political leaders involved in Putin's failing war in Ukraine have all been mysteriously killed, some including their families. A lot of rich people in Russia are being killed. Let's jump to a video here real quick. And let's find out, while we're talking about Russia, let's find out what they're saying today. This has become one of the most popular aspects of the show, is showing what's happening on Russian television.
Ну, слушайте, сидят они в этом подвале, контролируют все входы и выходы, один оставить, так сказать, на всякий случай, действительно, вдруг там еще они, мирных людей, кого-то, понимаете? На них-то плевать, на самом деле, я не разделяю вот этой идеи гуманизма, вот этих, так сказать, прекрасных идей, там, давайте их в клетки посадим и будем возить по базару и за 3 рубля показывать. Это преступники, это звери, понимаете? После того, что мы видели, так сказать, никакого гуманизма по отношению к этим людям быть не может.
Если мы хотим 3 рубля бесплатно
хотим подобным образом понравиться кому-то там, знаете, у нас есть такая обычная рефлексия. Ну, мы хотим нравиться где-то там, за границей, на Западе, в Америке, в Европе. Мы там уже довольно долго никому не понравимся.
У нас там уже не получилось.
Я вас уверяю. Да, поэтому...
Okay, basically, what they're saying there is we know that there are up to 1,000 people still in Mariupol under the Azovstal factory complex in the tunnels down in there. We've got videos of them, and what they're saying is they should cement the area in. So that none of them can get out, and except for, you know, kids. If the kids are in there, the kids can come out, and then they'll put them in cages at Russian markets, and people would have to pay 3 rubles to come and look at the kids in the cages. And then the woman said, no, we're not going to charge them anything. They can come and do whatever they want to them. So things are deteriorating rapidly in the as if it weren't bad enough in Russia as far as morals. QAnon star Kristen Weldon, who said only idiots get vaccinated and called Dr. Fauci to be executed, has died of COVID. This was from Mike Pence. I trust you, Tim, but you're not driving the car, Pence told Gibbles, his lead security agent. If I get in that car you guys are taking off, not getting in that car. That is testimony from what happened on January 6th. They were trying to remove Pence from the Capitol building, and he stayed and did his job and certified the election. The question is, why didn't he trust? What really was going to happen? What would have happened if he got in that car? I think that's pretty significant. We just watched a guy lie his face off about so many things, smug. You wonder why bad people get away with bad things for so long and they're not ever held accountable. Eventually it comes. Eventually it comes. This, unreal. Black Tennessee mayor declares April Confederate History Month in Livingston, Tennessee. During the announcement, Mayor Hayes was joined by 6 white members of the Sons of the Confederate Veterans. So, I don't know, just something to think about. Major General William T. Cooley was found guilty of sexual assault at military court in Ohio. He is the first conviction of a general in the Air Force for anything, and it was for sexual assault. Now, this is going to get out. This is going to be all over the place. There's what happened and what they made it look like, okay? Here's the way it really was shot, and this is the way it was doctored and sent out by this person, Elliot Higgins. Pro-Russian accounts are currently sharing a video that he created, has a big old pile of cocaine digitally added to smear Zelensky. We're trying to figure out what this guy's really all about. He created the video and then he spreads it on Russian media and then comes and tells on himself. And anyway, you can see there really is no, hold on. You can see there really is no big pile of cocaine on the desk, okay? It was digitally added to make Zelensky look bad. That's what propaganda does. Saturday night, 8:28 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Earlier, the Russian Ministry of Defense warns that the United States or NATO could use nuclear weapons in Ukraine and frame Russia. Now that we got past the Trump speech and he didn't declare war on America, now it becomes, what's Russia really going to do? We've seen them do this in the past where they say US or NATO is going to do something. They do it, and this is for inside Russia, okay? They're telling their people that Russia's going to get blamed for a nuclear attack that Russia's probably going to do. Over the next 48 hours, I wouldn't be surprised. We're not going to see it necessarily. They'll probably do it at night, so there'll be less, so it will take longer to verify, but yet we'll see radiation levels increase. We'll see where it was launched from, those of us in open source intelligence. And if anything does go off, I'll be on here telling you about it. It's a little more concerning because we had that press release from a few days back that was on the show that was only up for so long, where Russian media had announced that they were that the Russian people should expect retaliation for a nuclear strike. So, and that's tomorrow, the 24th. Actually, it's about 2 o'clock in the morning over there now. So, Miles Taylor, when I was working in the House in 2016, Kevin McCarthy helped us with something we privately called the Trump inoculation plan to counter the rise of Trumpism. I wonder if he will deny that too. So a lot of truth is going to come out, and especially from places like Miles, that that the status quo, so to speak, isn't expecting. This is some pretty significant big news. Germany and France have been selling weapons to the Russians. It's not good. We're going to get into it deeper tomorrow with a map and show some significance. But I want to have a little time to see what else is behind this. France and Germany armed Russia with C-273 million, which is 230 lira of military hardware, and likely now being used in Ukraine. And they sent equipment which includes bombs, rocket missiles, and guns to Moscow despite an embargo. Robert Reich, an economist, DeSantis just gave Disney $163 million annual tax break, as surrounding counties will now have to shoulder Disney's costs and debt. And it's going to probably be well over $200 or $2,200 additionally per the county. Now, there's a couple of things about this. Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, signed into law a bill that limits the number of black congressional districts, eliminates them basically, and also eliminates critical race theory, or teaching that that black people didn't just appear here in America. They were brought over here as slaves, and they went through some hell, and they lost their culture, they lost their names, they lost their languages, they lost their history, and we're not allowed to talk about it in schools. I showed you last night DeSantis saying this is going to intimidate every teacher on every level across the state. That should be troubling to everyone. And it should put into question, is there such a thing as a good Republican? Because if there is, they damn well ought to be standing up now. The fact that Governor DeSantis had these black young men stand there with CRT, okay, that's bad enough. But look at this dude. Look at this dude. Tell me this is not a sexual predator. Look at the way he's looking at these little black boys. Look at the way he's looking at these little black young men. Look at that face. Tell me that's not a sexual predator. Let's find out who this is before it's too late. Just something to think about. This is an incredibly bad look. And this isn't doctored. This isn't. And it's not the first time. And Trump even mentioned it. And man, that's, you got to fix that. You got to fix that. Either you got to fix that optic by always having somebody behind him to shake hands with, or we got to take a good hard look at, hey man, we are in an incredibly tumultuous time in our nation's history. And if this guy is this weak and is this confused, come on, we got to be honest. We got to be honest. I don't care what political side you're on. I tell the truth about things on here. And as mentioned, this is from inside the Azov steel plant. This is the place the Russian media wanted to cement all the exits so nobody could get out.
Здравствуйте. Добрый день. Мы тут вам подарочками. Можно разложиться. Позовите. Здесь, Подходьте, до вас трошки щось вкусного привезли. Проходьте.
А можно мы выложить, а раздавать мы будем, чтобы потом по-честному всем одинаково? Можно? Вот, пожалуйста, нам стол.
Да, давайте там можете.
А мы потом они покушают, а мы им раздадим.
Все, да, потом
Хорошо,
трошки
можно?
сладості, трошки такого щось. Потрошки пособирали. Привіт.
They've been down there for 2 months. Reportedly over 1,000 civilians. Scooter Caster, she's back over in Ukraine. 1,000 civilians are hiding in the basement for almost 2 months. And we've got video of just the kids just talking, saying they just want to go out and see the sunshine. They just want to be able to decompress, even though they don't realize that's what they really need to do. Constant bombing, constant war. So earlier we had last night, we got word that there was going to be a white supremacy meeting in Kendallville, Indiana at the Best Western. And hat tip to Old Woman Seeking Justice from Twitter. Let me know about this. And within a few hours, we were able to get Best Western to deny hosting this. And they said it was all done under false pretenses. And it took a while. It took a number of people calling, but we did get it shut down. The thing is, where did those people go? What did they do when they didn't have the Best Western to meet in? So, but score one. Here's who Hutchinson remembers being present at the White House during a December 21st meeting to strategize for January 6th, Pence tactics. We just had Trump on a few minutes ago. The main thing about this is right here. Okay, how about Marjorie Taylor? Sure, what about her? Was not at the time a member of the Freedom Caucus, as she was still Congresswoman-elect. But yes, Ms. Marjorie Taylor Greene was there, and she testified in court yesterday that she had no recollection of doing anything or even mentioning anything other than peaceful things after January 6th. Had no idea any of it was going to happen. And she was there at a December 21st meeting. I said in last night's episode, they're going to try to make her the scapegoat. Number one, she's a woman, and they don't value women. They let them be in power for a short time, and then they quickly push them out. You don't see a lot of long-standing Republican women. They're trying to hammer Liz Cheney out right now. They're pushing a bunch of people out. Anyway, that's beside the point. She was there. She was part of it. She wanted it. She begged to be a part of it. She wanted her moment and to go down in history. It's just not going to work out the way she thought it might. And we're going to end with this. A U.S. bomb technician volunteering somewhere in Ukraine. I held this for an extended period of time, just in case there was any way that it could be geolocated, which I don't think it can from anything we gave it a pretty good look at. But here's doing this, as you can hear, with explosions in the background, incoming and outgoing fire in the background. Just one of the unknown, unsung heroes of what's going on in Ukraine. And this one just happened to be an American. So that does it for us for tonight. Thank you very much for watching. Had a lot of fun making fun of Trump and his lies. And we talk on here a lot about what's happening in the world and how we need to be prepared for things, and we do. We talk about how to physically prepare for things, what you need, the 10 things FEMA recommends we all have. Tornadoes are to the west of us right now as I speak, and you never know when something's going to happen. Just be prepared so that, don't panic, be prepared. And if you're prepared, you won't be in that panic. If you're not prepared, you're going to find yourself in a panic with a bunch of other people who are panicking. That's not where you want to be. And it's kind of the same thing to me spiritually. If it happens to be the same thing for you spiritually, tomorrow there will be the 3rd episode of Our Modern World in the Book of Revelation of Jesus Christ. That episode will come out. So while these episodes are about current events, about news, about politics, there's crossover. There can't help but be crossover in what's going on in our world right now. So that episode will come out tomorrow, and then I probably won't be back tomorrow night. I'll probably be back Monday. But if you're on YouTube, there'll be a notification come out when I'm going to be on Monday, and the same thing with the other platforms. Again, just got one of those feelings like Putin's going to do something, and I'm afraid he's going to drop a nuclear weapon or a chemical weapon at some point. I've said it from the start. He's going to cross those lines, and I just hope it's not to mark Easter, because it's Easter in the Orthodox Church. So it's officially Easter there now. And the first thing this morning, the first thing they did was launch missiles into Odessa. So every major city in Ukraine was hit last night except Kyiv. So we're going to keep an eye on things throughout the night. I'm going to kind of take it easy, and I hope you all do the same. If anything does happen, we'll be back on and let you know about it. I love you all. It truly is a dark world.